Friend to feed. So Marlowe is on. Hasn't even had a training run with this Kiwi side. Botica out wide. Replacing Peter Brown. Played pretty well in this test series, Peter Brown. He would be very disappointed that the Kiwis had managed to get away to that sensational 1-0 lead and then have really struggled since then. This is Marlowe. Felled in a good tackle. Right around the bootstraps was Mark Geyer. Marlowe again, so he's getting plenty of work in the opening seconds on the field. Long ball to Nikau. Nikau has man outside. He works the run around. Here they go. Well, the errors, as you just saw on the screen, and there's another one from the Kiwis. They tell the story of this game. Steve Walters in centre field, and he'll settle it for Australia. There is a stack of room on the right-hand side. The Kiwi defence very slow to get back, but Walters was held down cleverly in the tackle, so New Zealand have had the chance to regroup. Bella, across field, then straightens. About 12 metres inside Kiwi territory. Gillespie popping into Willie Kahn, who tries to sneak under tackles, but that's as far as he'll go. Langer. Dumbing in straight through Alan Langer. He's got it on a string at the moment. Jackson on the inside to Andrew Ebbinghausen, right underneath the black dot. This time, no dispute. Australia lead 32 points to 6 at Lang Park, and another 2 points coming up for Big Mel Meninga. 6 tries now in Test match football for Andrew Ebbinghausen.
Once again, Langer's involvement has to be admired here. The sidestep didn't come into play. He just put himself into a hole. And once again, the Australian support play, they just keep coming up with it time after time. Many players that can score the try.
Well, that's the big thing that Bozo Fulton's done to turn the Australian team around since the first test when there was no support play. He's drummed it into them. And look, you've got options either side all the way towards the posts.
Well, this Kiwi side proved in the first test that they can play good football, and they are a very good defensive unit. It is all credit to Australia that they have managed to rack up 44 points against them in the second test, and within a few moments another 34 against them in the third test, and we still have 15 minutes remaining.
Gary Freeman's a very dispirited lad down there at the present time, trying to engender some support.
34 points to 6 reads the Subaru scoreboard here at Lang Park. And the Aussie bench still well and truly wrapped up in their tracksuits, but all with smiles on their face, and why wouldn't they? Another statistic that again tells the story of this match. New Zealand 32 missed tackles to Australia's 11. Salvatore in his now customary role of running the kick-off back into play, followed by another good strong hit up from Bella. Gillespie pops it on the inside to Walters. We saw a little gap open in the middle, but it closed quickly for him. Well, John Harker there, obviously starting to bring the changes down there.
Yeah, more changes, Pat. Jason Williams is going to come on. He'll go on for McCracken, who has had trouble with that shoulder, and Watson will go. He'll go to the wing, and Watson will go to the centres.
Well, we interrupted, John, because Bradley Clyde's boast upfield. Forward pass. Forward pass as Mel Meninga was scooting away for try number 2. Peter Jackson protesting loudly, but it happened right in front of us, and I think Holdsworth may have been correct in that decision. Let's have a look at it.
Magnificent ankle running there. Bradley Clyde running into the hole. Peter Jackson just momentarily put off. Yeah, it's line ball, but the referee, we're giving the benefit of the doubt there. He certainly was in great position to call the play.
Yes, he was right on the spot. Friend, almost disconsolately, walks up to feed that scrum. Blackmore is in the centres now. He's had it knocked out of his arms, but Freeman was there to clean up. Off goes Jared McCracken. write that he'd prefer to forget. Scored the Kiwis' only try so far. But apart from that, they've been comprehensively outplayed by a superb Australian outfit. Todd still getting through a mountain of work, popping it back to Dwayne Mann. For Morlo, they work it across the line to Freeman. Freeman decides that someone has to run, but he won't run far. George Mann. Well, he's broken them a couple of times, George Mann. Pops it back to Faimolo. Friend. Not a lot of willing runners in this Kiwi side at the moment. Freeman trying to jink his way through the centre of the field. With the Australian ruck, there's plenty of defence in there. On the fifth tackle. Wayne Mann stepping one way than the other and puts in a good kick that finds touch just inside the Australian quarter line.
Did pretty well to kick that with his left foot there. The Australians' chase of the New Zealand clearing kick was admirable. But once again, we've just seen a display of how impossible it is for the Kiwis to breach that Australian defence. They've gone from side to side across the field and in 6 tackles made an advantage of about 2 or 3 metres.
Well, I can still see a couple of... Well, this is unusual. Too much aggression by the tackle player. This time, Willie Kahn was the offender. I don't think they'll take the shot at goal. Kahn into that tackle by Freeman. Held up. Pushing away from Freeman, who was still holding on to him.
Well, what did he do wrong?
I thought he was quite entitled to do that. Famalo to about 12 metres. Penalty 7 apiece. Nikau crossfield. This is the closest the Kiwis have come for a long, long time. 10.5 minutes remaining in the third and deciding test match here at Lang Park. It's going to be a great Australian victory. Panic passing in the back line. They keep it alive to Kevin Ira. We haven't seen much of him, but when we have, we've seen his opposite number 4, Laurie Daly, clinging to him like glad wrap. And he does again. Inside. Here's Iro again. Where's Laurie Daly? That ball's been knocked forward. Came off an Australian hand. Play on. The Kiwis have got it back. We continue to play on. Crowd doesn't like it. Think it was a fair decision though. Watson. Infield. Cutting there underneath the tackle of Ettinghausen, but he's been ankle tapped by Geyer. Back to 6. So they've got plenty of time to work up for a try. They're throwing these long passes. This is the new man, Jason Williams. Scored a dozen tries for South Sydney, but won't score one here right at the moment. Freeman is just up from receiving treatment. Friend to Freeman. Where are the runners? Out to Iro. Daly's got him again.
What a good tackle.
You've got to remember that Kevin Iro is 105 plus kilos. Laurie Daly about 90.
Good covering from Peter Jackson there. That was probably New Zealand's best set of 6 tackles in the whole second half. Once again, it has come to nothing, but they're trying everything in the book. You just can't get through. A clever little chip across the ground, but Australia has got cover defenders everywhere. Peter Jackson assuming that role close to the line.
Well, I know the crowd are loving it, Roy, but I think the fact that would be impressing Bob Fulton is the Australian commitment. They lead by 34 points to 6. We're inside the final 10 minutes, and still they're throwing everything at the Kiwis in both defence and attack.
Well, he'd also be very happy with the new boys, such as Salvatore, of course, who's tackled 15, made 15 tackles. Clyde, of course, now a young veteran, made 19. And here we are about to see them attack.
And John Harker, what's happening down with the Australian reserve bench?
Well, all 4 are coming on, Pat, and why wouldn't they after the performance of this Australian side? They're a squad. Peter Jackson, I know, is one of the players to come off just to rest that head wound. All 4 to come on, though, and that'll happen at any moment.
One of them will be Ian Roberts, who, like George Mann, is celebrating his 26th birthday today. So what a birthday present this one is. Meninga trying to step out of tackles. That ball looked forward. And, in fact, John Holdsworth has ruled that it was intentionally forward. Penalty, New Zealand.
Because I don't think we can argue too much with this one, Pat. It looked only about a metre forward. the New Zealand forwards again, well, Brent Todd has certainly got to be on double time and a half for tonight's performance. He's had 10 hit-ups in the second half. Again, his next best is on 2.
And that's that man we talk of, Brent Todd, inside the quarter line. Friend across field, working the angles with Nikau. But it was Colota who eventually took the tackle, couldn't pop it up. They work the blind side through Todd, who throws a good ball to Iro. Iro has a little bit of room over the top. It's going to be try time, and it's taken a long time, but Richie Blackmore is over to his 5th try in Test match football. Australia lead 34 points to 10. It's all too late for the Kiwis, but they have shown a little bit of fight in the last 5 or 6 minutes when they've had good field position, and finally they've converted that field position and pressure into points.
Weight of numbers coming New Zealand's way here. They just had one man too many for the Australians, although Australia seemed to have that covered there. Kevin Iro, that's probably the first time that he's been allowed any room from Laurie Daly all second half, and it's resulted in a try to the Kiwis. But once again, it was Brent Todd that got them started.
Yes, and of course it was a lovely swivel by Iro to avoid that tackle, and a good one-hand put down by the winger Blackmore.
Through the tackle of Johns, who'd only just come onto the field. He was still getting warm.
Well, Johnsy came out of the Kangaroo Tour with an error-free statistic sheet. He'll rue the fact that he's got 1 after 1 minute.
Martin Bella waving to the crowd. He's been one of the Aussie heroes tonight. Podica from the sideline. He struck it pretty well. It's working back. Over it goes. It's 34-12 at Lang Park. There's 5 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock.